Hey guys, LeafeonLive here, and, well, time for another unscripted video. This time it's going to be talking about my history of doing TPIs. Because, see, I haven't been doing them since 2014 alone. My history with TPIs have gone back as early as 2009 or so. So, yeah, this is going to be a bit of a lengthy one, so if you want to put this on as background noise or whatever, go right ahead. This is just going to be me shooting the shit for the next little bit. So, this is also why it's unscripted. So, yeah, it's been a fun time, but as many of you know, the next season coming out, Retro vs. Modern, will be the final season. And I'm going to try and stick to it this time and not make a collab 3. Kudos if you got the reference. So yeah, it's been a long road, but you know what? I'm glad I was able to make it this far. And despite the hardships I've reached with this at some points, even numerous cases where I wanted to quit, I mean, I made a whole fucking journal on it recently. I'm glad I was able to stick it out. I'm like one of the last veteran TPI makers leaving, so it's like, yeah, I know Chris is coming back, but I really doubt he's going to actually get to All-Stars by this point. Especially when he's doing a fucking camp, but that's beside the point. So, yeah, let's begin from, well, the beginning. My redundancy sucks. So, back in the day, I was inspired by another TPI maker, Psychic Mantha, who did slideshow TPIs, well, to do my own. Of course, it was a slideshow one because I was young, I didn't have PowerPoint back then. I wouldn't get that until like season 4 properly. And I decided to do it that way. A lot of the ideas were taken from hers, and I watched her TPI a lot back then to get some ideas. This would also play a part in another series, but we'll get to that shortly. I don't exactly have many fond memories of the first season, I would say. I just chose my Mortar because for the time that was one of my favorite Sinnoh Pokemon. Of course, you guys know my favorite is like Luxray or Gallade, but that's beside the point. Well, Togekiss, I have a lot of Gen 4 favorites. God, I'm stuttering now. So, I would say, well, I had fun somewhat with making the first season. Of course, looking back on it, has a lot of issues. But in terms of fond memories, I wouldn't exactly have many. I remember putting the files on a freaking MP3, because that was how shit it was back then. I had a really shitty desktop back in the day, but it was manageable at least, I guess. I think we threw the fucker out at some point. Anyways, couldn't even play a proper fucking video. It would just stick on the thumbnail. Anyways. I think the only other memory I have of the first season would be, I think it was in high school during a programming course. We had some break time or whatever, so I was working on episode, I think it was the Final 4 episode. I put that together. So, ultimately, that was about it for the first season. I had a decent time. I think that was the one where, I think it was with the first 2 seasons, yeah, where it was fan votes back then. Because that was another idea I took from Psychic Mantha. Nowadays, I just make up my own mind, but still. So, after that happened, I decided, hey, why don't I do a history season? Or time travel, whatever. So that was the intended plan, but while that was going on, I had another series planned. See, another series Psychic Mantha made was a series called Total Pokemon Neighborhood, which was basically revolving around the characters, well, realized outside of the first season. Except they just took up shop in a little community area, or village. And that's where they would have several episodes, continuing their pathway and all that jazz. Of course, back then, I just called it community. And oddly enough, mine still kept going after Psychic Mantha got her account suspended. I haven't talked to her in years, for the record, so I don't know what she's up to. I hope she's doing okay. Anyways. So I did that at the time. Anyone who knows of my main account will know that I eventually evolved the series into Pokemon World Revolution because the series changed, but that's beside the point. So History had a bit of an interesting story. History was a case of I wanted to try and do a time travel idea. Ultimately, I never really went through with it. I just did some ideas based on history or whatever. And that was about it. I knew one of the first characters... of course, since this was the original series, I know I just changed the subject randomly. Was to bring back characters from the previous season instead of just making your own cast. Something you'll see that I don't do often nowadays, but whatever. I brought back a lot of the characters from the first season, put them in season 2, but I also added a few newbies. Altaria, Meganium, who was Roserite's sister at the time. Torterra I introduced. He had a bit of a small role in the first season as a friend of Leafeon, but then evolved into Torterra. Those two eventually had a relationship, whatever. Weavile was another one. Venusaur was another one. That kind of stuff, basically. I think it was either that or the second season that I also introduced the idea of hidden immunity idols, so there was that. Any fun memories of that? I think I remember near the end of the series, I spent like a day putting together the final few episodes and releasing them all at once. Like, 1 hour I'd release this episode, another hour I'd release this one. That's a vague memory I had. I don't exactly remember history all that often, though. It happened. Of course, it was made in slideshow PowerPoints, and I do not have the original files anymore. Sorry. Following that, I wanted to do a PowerPoint theme season because I was seeing people like Mischievous55, Nikki Nor. Oh, how the mighty have fallen. Anyways, God. That kind of stuff, basically. So, I was seeing a lot more PowerPoint TPIs. But I didn't have a laptop or anything like that. I was using the desktop computer, which, yeah, not fun. So for Christmas, I got laptop. Problem was, they were really shitty ones. They were. Anyone know of Windows Millennium Edition, that operating system? If you haven't, Google it. It's a fucking train wreck that Windows made. Anyways, until Vista came out. It was really shit. You couldn't really access the internet or anything on it. So that kind of stuff, I couldn't fucking use it. Basically, it was garbage. So back to the desktop. So without that, I hadn't decided, you know what, I can't do Tundra, so I'm just gonna make another slideshow season. I believe at the time it was either Heroes versus Villains had come out or something like that. I think it might have been Heroes versus Villains, maybe. Either way, so if it wasn't Heroes versus Villains, it was something else, and that's where I got the idea from. So I did that for the third season. I brought in a bunch of characters from other TPIs. Some of which probably most people won't remember. I think one of them was like Ruins of Poly or Captain Yanmega. Yes, the Captain Yanmega had a TPI. No, Swift Yanmega. There we go. Okay, wouldn't that be weird? Hi, I'm Johnny. Welcome to TPI. Okay. Can I be serious? Yes. So I brought in those characters. I brought in a few of my own villains and heroes from those seasons. I don't exactly remember or like the third season anymore because that was pretty shit. I think that was I don't remember the... No, I do now. Altaria won that season, right. The character that I barely even remember nowadays. Season 3 was also the one where I introduced a lot of mixed breeds, so I do remember that. That was... God, I'm looking back at my old mixed breed sprites, and yeah, I'm really glad I've come a long way from that, because a lot of these mixed breeds were fucking idiots. I may actually show a few of them on screen when I'm editing this, but yeah, these just... Fuck. Eventually did get myself a laptop, or I should say a netbook. I still have the netbook to this day, but whatever. So I did that. I decided, hey, World Tour was coming out, or sorry, the musical. They called it the musical back then before they changed the name. So I thought, hey, well, why don't I do a musical theme season? Oddly enough, though, I think it was only me and Chris who titled it the musical. He eventually changed it to World Tour, but that's beside the point. So, yeah, there was that. I think after that, a lot of people just started calling it Total Pokemon World Tour for their series. Like, I remember Levi or Total Pokemon Action doing it. Or, what's it, Island? No, sorry, Total Pokemon Island. That was his user account. Right. Okay. Shinx Boy, I think, had it as World Tour, too, so there was that. But I decided, hey, stick with musical, because back then I was a Total Drama fan. I regret that. No, I don't. It served its purpose back in the day, but I think there are better ones out there. Whatever. Musical was an interesting time. I brought in a lot more characters, which now I also regret. The debut of Roserance, which I also regret in hindsight. Long story there. But by this point, I wanted to do something else with the idea. So after I finished Season 4, I wanted to do Total Pokemon Future. For anyone who remembers Resort, this was basically the original plan, effectively. This may sound similar, basically. So, Resort was basically the next generation characters from the original first two seasons. Future would have been the same thing. Future would have basically been the offspring of the characters from the first few seasons. I think Roserance was also planned for that, so I think it might have just eventually been an alternate universe, because that doesn't make any sense. Nowadays, I think I just have Future as a second universe or whatever, where Darkrai just took over everything. I don't freaking know. Oh god, the universes. So, Season 4 happened. Because Future didn't really pan out or anything like that at the time, I did eventually come back to the concept, but fuck it. It was just shit. I decided to do something else, and, well, at the time, Misdreavus was doing Total Pokemon Live, or was planning to do it, so I thought, hey, why don't I do a similar thing? So I called it Total Pokemon Humanized. The only difference is I made it human the entire season, he did not. Live has a bunch of problems, I'm gonna fucking state that. It really has a lot of issues, and I just don't like it anymore, so if you're wondering my thoughts on Live, yeah, I don't like it. So I did that, I did the 5th season, had a fun time doing that. I think there was a bit of a prequel or whatever in Community at the time, where Leafeon was tired of being the bad bitch, and she decided, you know what, I'm gonna try being a hero and all that jazz. It was fun doing that character arc for the season. That one also brought in a lot of other stuff. I think at the times I may have to lost her account, so I was feeling a bit of a down by then. I think it was by that point that I also basically asked my fans for ideas for challenges. So that was fun. Brought in a lot of characters for that. Shiny Delcatty, Lucas, all that jazz. It was a fun old time, but I think it was a good way to end the series. It wasn't the end. So I did Season 6 collab, which was basically an idea I had for a while. I wanted to do a collaboration season because I brought in so many characters, which kind of seems redundant now to just have a collab season. Well, whatever. Jeez. So I did that. And it was shit. It was absolute dog shit. I fucking hate it. I absolutely despise it. And this is why I tried to make a sequel a few years later, because I just fucking hated it so much. I really did. It just pisses me off so much. I don't even think I have the original files anymore, but I think one of the common jokes when I riffed one of the episodes in a call a long time ago, I think Michael545 was there at the time, he basically coined the phrase that probably sums up collab the best. It's Total Pokemon Confession, because there's so many goddamn confession scenes in the series. God. So I was not happy with collab at the time. I think I was also working on the spin-off series, Gilligan's, which, oh boy, that I can quickly go over that. Gilligan's was my attempt to do a Stranded on whatever series that my good friend Telly was doing at the time. I just did it with Jirachi. I had a Gilligan's because I just had Gilligan's on the brain. That one lasted 3 seasons. I think I was supposed to originally have a 4th, but then I just dropped it. I think I did a couple episodes for animation, then I just ignored it. Then I just let it die. So that was the thing. But I didn't completely regret working on the series for Gilligan's. I just... Fuck. I'm never doing a spin-off series like that again. Like, I'm just doing one TPI at a time. It's just... Fuck. I was not happy with the results of Season 6, so I thought, okay, fuck it. I'm going to come back and I'm going to do a better job. So I decided, you know what? Let's do a Season 7. So the idea I had was fans versus favorites, because I think I was either watching Season 16 or whatever. No. Season 16 came out years before. I got the idea from a fans versus favorite, like, season of Survivor, because I'm also a Survivor fan. I got that idea, I did it, I introduced a bunch more fucking characters, like Roserade has a Heartless, everybody! God, I was a Kingdom Hearts fan. I think I also, yeah, I did. Shiftry was also made into a mean child because lol Gen 5, because you could tell because that totally doesn't date the video at all. So I did that season, I did that. Not exactly the biggest fan of it, but it got on the right track, at least. I gave Salamence a girlfriend because I fucking thought that would be a great idea. It was not. So I thought, okay, is this the end of it? No, because then I saw the trailer for Revenge of the Island, and I thought, hey, I got a great idea. Let's bring back the first season characters and a few other ones for a reunion season. And then I'm eternally screaming right now because that was a terrible idea. And then I introduced like a bajillion fucking characters in it. And I'm like, God damn it, why did I do this? I think it was supposed to originally be just 22 characters, and then this clusterfuck happened. So, yeah, so many other characters, like WAP Camp series. I think I had a couple from Telly's. P-Trex cast for him. So, Revenge was a thing. It tried to continue the series because by then I just thought, hey, why don't I keep it up then? Because that was totally not a mistake looking back on it. So I thought, hey, let's make Perugly evil now. That's genius. Oh, the devil's Pokemon. Perfect. Let's make Chimecha go to Devilcho and then Cryocho because I thought that was intelligent. God. Or let's make Espeon a demon for some fucking reason. I don't know why. I think it was season 8 as well that I either started with the whole Typhlosion and Infernape thing, which, as much as I like to forget about that canonicity, it is still a thing in Retro vs. Modern, for anyone who's seen the original series at least. God, you know. I think it was also the point where I started to give the female characters... No, wait, no. Humanized was the first series to do that. The muscle thing on the females. I'm like, no. There's a purpose for some of them. There is not, like, for... I think there was a bodybuilder character, Scizor. That would have been fine. Other ones, no. Fucking no. That was something I hated in retrospect. Because that was just like, what the fuck am I doing? Like, there's no need for this shit. So, that happened. That went along. Season 8 was finished. I think that was actually the first time I actually had a tie at the final vote. Yeah, I was. So I just said, hey, why don't I have a fucking singing contest? GG. Okay. So following that was Season 9, Cosmos vs. Chaos, because I got the idea, hey, I failed with the first time I did a Heroes vs. Villains, let's do it again, and bring back a lot of other characters. Oh, right, Tundra. Yeah, this is where it comes in. Tundra, I did eventually try to do again, and it didn't last like 5 episodes, because I got fucking tired of it, and I canceled the series. So, I bring up Tundra here because, well, one, that was a series I originally planned, but the second reason I bring that up is because with Tundra, a few of the characters from that series came back for Cosmos vs. Chaos. I didn't bring back Gilligan's. I don't understand that either. Anyways, Roserance went through some shit because I thought giving her character was a good idea, I guess. Gets worse with this character, unfortunately, but we'll get to that in performance. So I did that. That was a thing. I brought in Torgeron. I did not intend for Sadriask, the son of Roserance, to come back or to even enter the game. That just happened because fuck it. So that occurred. What else? Oh, Blazerance. Fucking Blazerance. I hate this prick. Why did I think this was a good idea? Hey, let's pull a future Trunks and have him come from an alternate timeline, because that's genius. Internal scream. God. Yeah, I know, that's cringy. Then again, the sprite wasn't much better, but I digress. So, that happened. It fucking happened. And then I thought, okay, this is the ending point. But then I thought, and I kid you not, I even said this in the journal, hey, there's 4 male winners and 5 male winners and 4 female winners. Why don't we have a 10th season to make it equal? And part of me should have been like, no, fucking stop. But the other part's like, no, let's keep it going. And then season 10 happened. Total Pokemon Performance. The series that not even Tully would review. Then again, he stopped doing reviews now, but that's beside the point. You get what I'm saying? Okay. This series was a fucking train wreck. From start to fucking finish. And I have no issue saying that. Because it is. It's garbage. 116 goddamn characters. There's so much stupid fucking storylines. A lot of rehashed shit. So much stupid ideas. Really dumb challenges. Really dumb eliminations. All that shit. And really stupid ways to continue the stories of certain characters who should have fucked off a long time ago and inserted with a different cast. The series was a goddamn mess. Oh, and I got a great idea. Let's turn Roserance into a fucking Saiyan, because that's intelligent. Oh, and let's give her a fucking pink outline, because she doesn't look fucking ridiculous in it. And then let's have her win the season. God. So yeah, that was the end of it, for a few years at least. Or, I think it was a couple years. Anyways. After this point, I was just fucking done with Total Pokemon series. I would occasionally watch others, like Telly's and Susan's, which I think was the original, or I think hers was, at least back in the day, was the original Total Pokemon Island before it became Village and the like. So I watched that. What else? I watched a few episodes of Pediatrix Castform's TPI before he canceled it. I believe I would watch Levi's eventually. I still haven't seen the band, and fuck. Oh, there goes like 50% of my audience. In all seriousness, but I was watching 2 other TPIs at the time. the original Anti-X Challenge, and Shink's Boys TPI. I've been watching Shink's Boys as well during the time when I was doing TPIs, but I was watching his newer season. And I was just getting pissed off at the two series because of really stupid things as time went on. Eventually, I decided to come back. So that gave me some drive originally to do Total Pokemon Collab 2. That seemed to go over pretty well for people, so I thought, okay, well, at least it's nice to see that after a couple of years I still got it a little bit. I was still getting annoyed by the two series, so I thought, hey, why don't I try and make fun of this kind of stuff? Because instead of getting angry, why don't I have a laugh about it? And thus I got the idea, you know what? Let's do it. Let's come back with a parody season. And thus the birth of Total Pokemon Amazon. Of course, I tried to do another TPI at the time before that point, but it just didn't go anywhere. I believe it was called Return to the Island or something. It was fucking garbage. God. I think I even had another plan. I think it was like a season 11 with an entirely new cast called Pokemon Survivor Falkland Islands. There was a TPI versus Gilligan series I had planned. None of these went anywhere, for the record. They just were ideas I thought would make for interesting ideas. It never got off the cutting room floor, for a reason. And looking back on it, it was probably for the best. So Amazon was the thing I decided to do. I had some fun with it. Of course, I got some criticism for it, but it was fun while it lasted. Music was the first time I tried to do a serious TPI again, and that seemed to go over pretty well. But unfortunately, that was where a stigma started to set in for me, where I thought, hey, why don't I try and milk the success of of episode 7 of music, am I right? And this would result in the next two seasons. Now, Resort wasn't originally going to happen, but as I stated in the journal, but I'm going to say again, originally I thought the second course of my college would have been too much for me, and I couldn't do videos like this, but it turns out it wasn't, so I was able to get that done. So I decided, you know what, let's come back with a season 3 eventually. Of course, the original plan was Yomi, which would have taken place during the apocalypse and a bunch of characters surviving in it, which maybe in hindsight I should have done, but whatever. So that was the thing. But eventually I decided, hey, why don't we try doing the Next Generation cast? And then that's where Resort came in. Because I failed with Future, why don't we try it again, but better? Season 3 was received decently, looking back on it. So, there's that. Season 4! Oh boy. Yeah, it's gonna be fun watching Telly's essay on this when it eventually comes out. God, that's gonna be fucking fun. I kid. I got no ill will towards the guy, trust me. It's all good. Just banter. So, Season 4, I've given this fucking story numerous times, but basically, this was a fucking mess. Because, I think I said this already, but I'm gonna repeat it again. The story was a fucking mess largely because of the fact that I rushed it into production. I got a lot of comments, I read the comments asking me for another season, I listened, and, well, this was the end result. It was a fucking dumpster fire. Of course, I got a lot of complaints on the challenges, but at this point, I'm like, I don't fucking care. At this point, whatever. The reason I don't take the challenges so fucking seriously as much is because challenges have never really been my thing. My main focus is on telling the story and the characters and all that jazz. I never really gave a fuck about the challenges, because to me, it's not really a big deal, but if I don't, people are gonna bitch, where the fuck is the challenge? So I might as well just fucking do it. But it's like, I would have gotten fucking complaints for not having a challenge, basically. So I figured, you know what, fuck it, I'll just do challenges then. I don't fucking care. It serves its fucking purpose. I just need to get... It's just the annoying, like, in-between thing you need to put in just to get from point A to point B. But yeah, for me, I've always been more of a character/story person. I really don't fucking care about the challenges, honestly. I never really have for a long time. And I know someone say, well, but music. Music was the same thing. Music was just me just spitballing ideas. Like, hey, why don't I just do this? It always came as a last freaking minute idea anyways. Largely because, well, challenges have never really been my thing. As I said, they've always been a last minute thing. For me, I've just been more focused on telling a story and focusing on characters. Well, of course, then there was the eliminations, but I know you can't please everyone with those, so it's like, whatever. So you just learn not to worry about it. Needless to say, Season 4 was a fucking mess. So then I thought, oh, well, now I feel like shit. What the fuck am I gonna do now? But then I thought, okay, you know what? Why don't I do a fucking second take on it? And this is where Take 2 of Galaxy Games comes in. This was the fanfic I was talking about in my live stream a few months ago. I recently finished it about a month or so ago, so it's on DeviantArt. I actually really enjoyed doing Take 2. My hands, on the other hand, didn't, because I was typing so much. I think even on the fanfiction.net page, it lists how many words it was, so there's that. Ugh, the pain. So, yeah, I would say that. I enjoyed doing Take 2, and, well, here we are now, Season 5. Like I said, Season 5 is going to be the final season, so I figured, why don't I tie this back to where it all started? Darkrai series versus Magmortars. Well, sort of. It's more of an all-star season, but whatever. Basically just bring in stuff from the past, and, well, ultimately wrap it up. Or at least try. We'll see what happens. Which is why I'm bringing back a lot of 16 characters from the previous series, including 4 from Gilligan's, from Gilligan's. Yeah, I wish. No, 4 from Galaxy Games. Oh god, could Galaxy Games just be a 4th season of Gilligan's instead? I think I would have been way more. No. Okay. Let's be serious. So yeah, and for those wondering, I'm going to be sticking with the original personalities for Galaxy Games, not the Take-Two ones, as much as I would have liked. Largely because if I stuck with the Take-Two ones, people would be wondering, well, this is out of character for them. Why are they like this? Yeah, I know Take-Two has its fans, and thank you all if you read it, but if I stuck with the Take-Two personalities, people would be confused. Especially because a lot of the characters do act differently than they were in the first run. But you're not out of the cold yet if you enjoyed the Take-Two series. That's all I'm going to say. Because there may be a slight Easter egg or mention of it in Season 5. We'll get to that. I already finished outlining the first episode anyways. It's just a matter of putting it all together. I still gotta put something else together, but that's beside the point. We'll get to that. Holy shit, this video's been going for a while. So, that's basically my journey as a TPI maker. What's my advice for anyone starting out? Well, of course, take criticism, read your comments, and, well, just have fun, basically. And probably also ignore the drama that goes on, because, trust me, it's not worth it. It really isn't. It's just a bunch of petty garbage. But, just have fun. That's basically it. And actually, yeah, here's another piece of advice, because this is something I tried to do. Don't be afraid to try new things. Even if it's something that's never been done in TPI before, don't be afraid to try it. After all, this reboot series started from an idea of doing a parody season, something that was never done before. And it seemed to go over pretty well. Never be afraid to try new things. Some of them may not work out, some of them will. So don't be afraid to try new things in this community. So that concludes my journey of my TPI. Thank you all for watching, and for those wondering about the future of this channel after the series is over, this will likely be a channel for streaming, and of course DPAS whenever I get back on that. Still haven't worked on Season 2 yet, but after the shit I went through with that show, I think it's best I take a little break for a while, because, yeah, the wound's a little fresh. Because, hey, I've had a really good run, and I'm glad that I'm ending it on a high note than letting it, well, go out with a whimper, like with Performance. It's like coming soon to the Pokemon Season 10, where Darkrai is like 9 billion years old and there's like 1,000 contestants. No. We're not gonna do that. I think there's like a whole bunch of friggin' material people can make jokes out of in this whole freaking recording alone, but whatever. Alright, I'm just gonna end it then. This recording's been going on for a while, so that's gonna be fun to edit. Alright, take care guys, and thank you for watching.